Hey guys, my name's Euphoria, and today I'm going to be going over basic team strategy in the game of Halo Reach. So off the break, we send two guys running straight out towards the left and right side of the map, in order to anchor our team by shooting inside and across the map. Now, our other two teammates, they go straight up the middle of the map. This puts them in the perfect position to insert into any openings they might see. And in this case, they're able to contest the rockets long enough for our support players to do some damage. Now, even though we lost the lead, it looks like Killin has no support players to help him out, so he's just a sitting duck.
Lost the lead. Tied the leader.
So now that we have rockets in our possession, our breakout play was clearly a success, so it's time to establish a home and start setting up. And we could choose that ridge right there as our home, but it looks like two of our teammates have spawned in the office, so that's probably the best choice for making ourselves a nice little home to set up around. And now that we've cleared our spawn, as soon as the Bucklebee spawns, we should be pretty much set up and ready to start claiming real estate. And sure enough, here goes Waldo inserting with the rockets on the right side. But Humpedump notices a problem. We're all bunched up on that right side, and we don't have a left flank, so he goes ahead and fills the left flank role in respective bias. And then Buckle makes a great decision and decides to fill the mid-left to help out Humpedump. Now, as you're about to see, they kill one guy in that shed, which means there's only one guy left. So they should charge him together, but they decide not to, which was definitely a mistake. You should always put pressure on the enemy's weak side. Meanwhile, Waldo is still doing work inserting with the rockets, and after blowing up a couple bad guys, he realizes he's all alone and makes a great decision by falling back into safe real estate, becoming our team's right flank and respective bias. Now, in respective bias, he's able to wrap inward and help me out down in that bottom mid, but he gets distracted and completely forgets to do his primary job of watching the right zone. Then, the same two guys that charged him decide to take on Humpedump, and instead of running away into safe real estate, Humpedump decides to take him on 1v2. Now, at this point, it's only a matter of time before the rest of us are cleaned up at the office. So what we should do is establish a new home right here at this ridge spawn. But instead of setting up and securing our spawn, we decide to just charge straight up the middle like idiots. So as you can see, all three of us pay the price right there for making such a fundamental mistake. But Humpedump gets a late spawn, so he has a decision to make. Either charge into the chaos, or fill the left flank at the main ramp. And check it out, he's actually wrapping in respective bias right now, and we've established a brand new home on the river side of the map. But look, see my red X right there in the yard? I was actually mid-left, but instead of staying under the main ramp at a safe distance in order to contain, I decided to headbutt the strong side. And it looks like Humpedump forgot to fall back. But let's go back a little bit and check out Buckle. He seems to be doing a good job of wrapping as right flank in respective bias. But then, he decides to engage in a pointless 1v1 challenge. So as you can see, if he would have just turned his back and ran halfway through the fight, Waldo would have been there to double team the guy. In fact, let's jump on board with Bucko and get a closer look at what he's doing. Okay, so right here, it looks like he's the left flank guy, so he should be in respective bias, because if you notice, there was nobody watching his back. Unfortunately, he's in opposite bias instead, so it's only a matter of time before he pays the price.
Lost the lead.
Ouch. Yeah, thanks for the nade, Humpedump. Now, see, we spawn right here at the ridge, so we should be trying to establish a home and just cut our losses on the other side. I mean, we should definitely try to help them out, but that does not mean run straight at them, because the office over there is now the enemy's strong side. And normally what Bucko's doing right now, that's a very risky move, charging their entire team by himself. But as you're about to see, he gets really lucky and actually pulls it off. Now, the only reason this dumb move worked was because they were being even dumber and they just let him walk right up behind him. But I definitely gotta give him credit, because even though it was high risk, he saw an opportunity and pulled it off. And in this case, that risky move paid off because there was actually a power weapon waiting for him in the office. But now, the enemy has a choice to make. Either they charge the other three of us on the opposite side of the map using their numbers to their advantage and praying Bucko doesn't have time to shoot him in the back of the head, or they charge Bucko himself, who's technically all alone with the hammer. But it looks like they made the wrong decision. As you can see, Bucko has the angle advantage and is able to just shoot them in the back. Instead, what they should have done was charge Bucko and overwhelm him, because there's no way he could hammer their whole team. And they would have at least walked away with an office spawn for their fallen teammates. Not to mention a brand new hammer fresh off of Bucko Man's dead lifeless corpse, ready to be put to work crushing red team's skulls. But they didn't choose wisely, so the Bucko Beast continues to punish them.
Gain the lead. Lost the lead.
Okay, so amidst all the chaos, Humpadump gets a spawn next to Low Bridge, which usually means that area is safe, free, available real estate, putting him in the perfect position to fill our team's right flank, and he immediately begins probing and wrapping his surroundings with textbook execution. Now if you notice, Waldo should be playing Humpadump's mid-right, but he's too busy charging their strong side in the yard. And there goes his red X. As a mid player, it's important to make sure you always have proper support before you insert. But notice how Humpadump realizes this is no longer safe real estate, and immediately begins to fall back. And then the moment he sees a second player hitting the right side, it's time to exit, so he turns his back and runs back towards our setup, effectively creating a reverse leapfrog and catching Killin in our trap. So Waldo, realizing that he's the new right flank guy, goes to fill his position. And right here, he should be in respective bias. And so far, it looks like he's doing an okay job, except, as you can see, he didn't watch the entire right zone. They snuck up through the top and came around behind him. Let's go ahead and switch back to Humpadump's point of view. Okay, so check this out right here. He glances over and notices all three of us looking towards the right, and then immediately decides to fill the left flank.
The leader.
But there's not much he can do without a mid-left to help him out. So he has no choice but to just sit here in respective bias while the rest of us decide to have a powwow in the office.
Lost the lead. Tied the leader. Lost the lead.
Okay, now that we're done hiding in corners, let's see if we can actually establish a home this time.
Tied the leader.
Now, even though Waldo is still alive, it's time to cut our losses, so I help him out a little bit, but at some point, it's more important just to leave him to die, and go help my other teammates establish a home at the dorm.
Gain the lead.
So while me and Bucko move left to clear the remaining guy out of our spawn, Humpadump fills the right flank and respective bias, and immediately starts probing to get a better picture of his surroundings. And I follow Bucko into P1 to make sure we've cleared our spawn. But then I realize Waldo and Bucko are already set up on the left. Meanwhile, Humpadump's doing work in respected bias, waiting for me to come fill his mid-right. Check out his execution. That's exactly how you're supposed to wrap. And because he's doing it right, he's able to hold him off long enough for me to fill his mid-right. So now that Humpadump has a mid-right, he immediately switches to opposite bias in order to inflict maximum damage. Now, you may be wondering why I'm not inserting, and the reason is, it would spread us too thin, isolating us from our teammates on the left side. And see, Humpadump is able to catch Walshy trying to sneak up behind our teammates on the left side. Such protection would have been impossible if we were any more spread out, not to mention how good of a job he's doing in opposite bias. Anyway, it's time to watch Bucko single-handedly close the game.
Double kill.
Just kidding, he had support. But he does a pretty good job of inserting. Stick a fork in him. He's done.
Game.
Okay, so
Game over.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and leave me some feedback. Thanks, guys.